Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 30.
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8 electoral votes, in Indiana with its 11 electoral votes, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
Tacos in the chat, everyone. Tacos in the chat. It might be Wednesday, but we're celebrating like it's Taco Tuesday. Hello, everyone. Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Taco Wednesday. Taco Wednesday. Celebrate like only the snake pit can. Lots of TDS in the chat. We celebrate with tacos and super chats. That's how we roll. You can cry all day in the chat, but the snake pit will win because tacos and super chats are what's on the menu for the day. Let's freaking go. Now, first of all, I would like to congratulate everyone on surviving the end of the world. End of the world is here. And we all survived it, apparently. And the people that are very upset about Trump going to murder 90 million people, they're also upset that Trump didn't murder 90 million people. Make it make sense. So yesterday, the deadline of Donald Trump and his threat to end an entire civilization, that really had people upset. Oh my God, I can't believe Donald Trump is going to drop a nuclear weapon on Iran and murder 90 million people. Oh my God, this is so terrible. Now, what did people like me, you, and others say? We're like, this is what Trump does. He's been doing it for a long time. Not sure what you're upset about. And of course, what happened? Exactly what everyone that's been paying attention said would happen. Trump throws out a crazy scenario, gets everybody freaked out, gets everybody panicking. Some people think he's crazy, which he uses that to his advantage. And then before the deadline hits, what happens? Oh, we have a deal. Well, those same people that were upset about Trump being a mad king and going to murder 90 million people got really mad because Trump didn't, in fact, murder 90 million people. It's crazy. And it's expected. So what do we do with these types of people? We laugh at them. We meme on them. We drop tacos in the chat, and we make lots of super chats because that really upsets the panicans. Oh boy, does it upset them big time. So anyway, good to see all of you here on a Taco Wednesday. And for those, the uninitiated that don't know, the taco is a leftist meme where it's taco, Trump always chickens out. Okay. And so, of course, what does MAGA do best? We lean into the memes. We take complete ownership of the memes. So yeah, taco Trump. Okay, let's go. So that's the whole reason why the tacos are a big thing today. And that's what we'll do. We will continue to lean on just that. But yeah, good stuff indeed. And look, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to filter through. There's a lot of bullshit to kind of filter through to kind of see what exactly is going on. You've got a lot of reports from Iranian state media. You got a lot of reports from Israel. I don't know what's true and what's not. I have no idea. So I just tend to listen to whatever the White House and President Trump says. Boston loves you, Jeremy. Well, right back at you. I've been to Boston a few times. I very much enjoyed my time there. It was awesome. MC Tasman says it's been a while, but let's see. Here's the question. Roger Taylor, Queen, or Steve Adler, GNR? That is a tough question. I mean, I instead of like specifically like individuals, I'd have to go with just picking bands, and I prefer Guns N' Roses slightly over Queen. I prefer Guns N' Roses slightly. Tree Bear with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for the 5 gifties. Ladybug says to piss off 207 Patriot. Yeah, 207 Patriot is been really mad in the chat. And I want you to know that all super chats will be dedicated directly to you, 207 Patriot. So thank you, Ladybug. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, let's taco about all this winning. Hail IDOTS, hail 199, happy Jessica. Let's freaking go. Hail to you, John freaking Murdoch. Normal Man says Trump's ability to turn people stupid needs to be studied. It really is an incredible ability, man. It really is. I've talked about it a lot lately. Ministry of Wrong Things says the left, Trump is a fool for trusting Iran. Then why did Obama give them billions of dollars? The Tucker right, Trump is a fool for trusting Iran. Why Joe Kent say they promised no nukes? Exactly. Like, it's so funny, man. But we're going to get into all of that. Stormbreaker says, Jeremy, why are we negotiating with terrorists? You mean Democrats? Captain JPS says the world didn't blow up tax. Stopping Motion says at this point, you and Crowder are the only people I trust. Well, I appreciate that. I don't belong in the same, category as Crowder. He's been around for a long time. He's been doing this for a lot longer than me, and he's far more knowledgeable than me, but I do appreciate that. And I think Crowder is one of the best, if not the best, major conservative voices in media for sure. A-Rod says, Taco, Trump always controls outcomes. Hey, I like that. Matt Morris is pretty good as well. He is. He's very good. Let's see. The Mass Marvel says 207 Patriot says I'm a lonely loser. Yeah, we kind of picked up on that one. It was pretty easy. The VJ the Vigilant says the podcast bros are upset they weren't right. Well, they're spinning it as that they were right. And that is the spin that's going on. But hey, look, we got Megyn Kelly, who's very upset. Megyn Kelly's very upset.
Now,
she really did the whole. Oh my God, she did the meme. She did the YouTuber sigh meme. This is like the typical YouTuber apology sigh. Let's see here. Hang on. Hang on. Is this it right here? It's every time there's like a YouTuber apology. That's what they do. They start out that they're like, let me see if I can find it. There's one meme of that right there. I think it was PewDiePie actually had that one. PewDiePie did a video on that. Oh my God, so cringy, man. We'll go over that here in a minute, but let's start with the it's so cringe, dude.
Now, as you can imagine, that post did not go over well with the Iranians or with many Americans. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 3D chess, shut up. Fucking shut up about that shit. You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about...
He did, Megan. What are you going to do about it? He literally did. What are you going to do about it?
About civilians just casually in a social media post. You know, like I am the first to try to understand Trump and his strategy and to not freak out over his weird social media posts and language that is loose and incendiary. Truly, I've lived with it for 10 plus years. I learned it the hard way when I was on the receiving end of it for 9 months. And truly, I think that was a gift to me in many ways because it helped me really come to understand what he does with his social media. But this is completely irresponsible and disgusting. This is wrong.
Yeah, how dare you, Trump? How dare you talk firmly to a terrorist regime that wants you dead? How dare you treat them as they need to be treated? My goodness.
It's wrong. He should not be doing it. I don't care that it's his negotiation tactic is to kill an entire country full of civilians, men, women, and children. An American president so that the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. It's just wrong. It's not hard to say it. It's not hard to recognize it. I wish he would stop doing this. Like, he can't negotiate without doing this. What does that say about him? What does that say about the position that our country is in right now in these negotiations? He's got to say this. He can't.
You're dealing with people that literally lie constantly to their own people so that they can control them. You are dealing with people that will kill their own people if they defy them. And you're mad because Trump is using strong negotiation tactics to deal with them? Are you fucking kidding me?
Can't be a dignified, strong leader without threatening a bunch of war crimes? Like what is he, Genghis Khan? Like what is he trying to do? And why can't he do it with strength, threats? Sure, go for it. That don't diminish and demean the United States of America in this way. All right. The Wall Street Journal.
I'm loving this meltdown. I'm loving it. Trump controls every single one of their emotions. They are bigger fans of Trump than I am. They are more obsessed with Trump than any MAGA supporter out there. These people need him to exist. They need him to say something so they can react emotionally. They are completely and 100% controlled by Trump and every single thing that he says. Without him, they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. Trump is their entire existence. It's crazy. And of course, we got our buddy Alex Jones reacting this morning.
So, did the United States lose the war with Iran? Did Israel lose the war with Iran? That's what Iran's saying. That's what a lot.
Trump has killed 40 of their top leaders and generals, including the Ayatollah. But we're asking the question, did Iran win? What?
A lot of analysts are saying because Trump accepted this ceasefire for them to open the Strait of Hormuz. I'll answer that question. Iran's saying things that aren't true. The U.S. is saying things that aren't true. I just spent a couple hours last night and today making calls, reading over the documents. J.D. Vance, back channel through Pakistan, was able to get them to tacitly accept some of Trump's points.
Now, let me explain to you what's going on here. What's actually happening. And did you hear what he just said? They are essentially saying that J.D. Vance actually made all of this happen. That's the new narrative, okay? And that's not isolated. Robert Barnes, 17 hours ago, said excellent work by J.D. Vance getting Trump to take the exit ramp off of the escalator to hell. Without him, it wouldn't have happened. Today, he proved his value to the world, but especially the American people who put their trust in him, okay? So right now, what they are essentially trying to do is they are trying to shift that J.D. Vance is truly the genius behind everything. And because they need something beyond Trump, okay? They need something beyond Trump. So now it's time to discredit Trump and try to put all the focus on J.D. while also trying to create a divide within Trump and Vance. That is what they are trying to do.
Trump accepted some of theirs, but it's only a ceasefire for now. Now, Fox News tried to deceive everybody, low information viewers, many of them, and so do the bots and influencers on X, that, oh, this is a great victory. Iran accepted all of the points. No, they didn't. They're also spinning it that Iran violated the ceasefire because they're still shooting missiles at Israel and some of the other neighbors that have U.S. bases in them. That's because Israel said last night, Netanyahu said last night. Israel's going to keep bombing. And so the ceasefire is only...
Dude, do you see how we are now at a point where I have haters asking you to donate to me? How fucking good am a grifter am I? I have now twisted my haters into begging you to donate to me. How fucking good am I? I deserve a lot of credit for that. That is fucking awesome. Let's talk about it.
That the U.S. will stop bombing Iran for now, and that they will open the Strait of Hormuz for now. So Iran did not win. The United States did not get its objectives. And I would imagine, I hope it's not the case, that this ceasefire will fall apart very, very quickly. But Trump had such a disastrous response to the polling numbers and from even Republicans in the Congress when he was saying, we'll destroy your civilization tonight, and clearly the definition of genocide will never come back. There was such a backlash that Trump listened to Vance and Tulsi Gabbard and pulled back for now. So this is a pause in the insanity. And bottom line, the Iranians can keep the strait closed indefinitely unless there's regime change. Trump now knows he was lied to by Mark Levin. Now, for all the neocons
Okay, so thank you, Alex. All right, so Alex is rambling on about all of this, but ultimately, let's talk about what Trump is saying. So, right here, President Trump has debunked this nonsensical 10-point peace plan that everyone is saying that 47 agreed with Iran on. Okay, that happened last night. Everyone was running with this narrative. They were retweeting clearly accounts that were lying about it. And then CNN reported on it. And then Trump went ham on that. But the truth was that was never agreed upon from Trump.
The statement is going to be key ahead of this, where the president says the U.S. will be discussing these talks with Iran only behind closed doors during these negotiations. And he's basically criticizing these lists that are floating around between the Iranians and U.S. negotiators, Nicole. The statement is going to be key.
So that was a huge talking point last night. And Trump has been very, very frustrated with that, especially with CNN reporting on it specifically. He was very pissed off about this. And they can't deal with it. Here's Matt right here. The 10-point plan is a fake news propaganda campaign aimed at keeping Trump involved in the war against Iran. 100%. Because they need him, and they need him to be the mad king. They need him to be the evil dictator that they claim that he is. Simple as that. That's what they need from him. And without him being that creates a huge problem for them and their narrative. It's hilarious. And it's so obvious to see what's going on and what their point is. Now, for all of the losers calling or trying to drive this wedge in between J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, J.D. Vance actually says conservatives should stop the black pilling. He actually calls them out.
The piece of advice I'd give to you, and I give it to American students, American conservatives in particular, is resist the temptation to think that victory is immediate or that we're going to win back our civilization through instant gratification. This institution was founded in 1996. It's far more influential than it was back then, but I think a lot of people, this is particularly true in the United States of America, if they see something that the administration does they don't like, they say, oh, that's not what we voted for, we're going to check out of politics. No. That's the exact wrong response. If we do something you don't like, the response should be to get more involved, to make your voice heard, and to try to push things in the direction that you want them to be pushed. Our civilization was not built overnight. It's not going to be saved overnight. And so what I'd encourage you to do is stay involved, be patient, and don't let disappointment turn to checking out of the system entirely. There's way too much of that, I would say, in the Anglo system and the American system. There's way too much, I didn't like this thing that the vice president said, or I didn't like this thing that the president did, and I'm going to completely check out. We call that blackpilling in the United States of America. And blackpilling is how you give power to the forces that are trying to destroy what our ancestors built.
JD is so on point. And the more and more I hear JD Vance talk, I will repeat the same talking points that I've repeated 100 times. JD Vance is better at articulating Donald Trump's talking points than Donald Trump is to people that don't necessarily like Donald Trump. He's phenomenal at it.
We need to take power back from those people and build the kind of institutions that can actually save our societies. It will not happen overnight. It will not happen in the term of one prime minister or one president, but it will happen so long as we keep our faith in God and we work hard to achieve it. That's what we have to do.
Well said from 48, who I firmly believe will be number 48 as well. I firmly believe that. I have no doubt, actually. But yeah, it has been really interesting to watch all of this. Here's Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, said the Iranian regime begged for the ceasefire. They've had enough.
No other president has shown the courage and resolve of this commander-in-chief. President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it. As the President truth this morning, a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory on the battlefield. A capital V military victory.
But I was told that Iran won. That's what I was told. And so just watching this reaction has been glorious. Now, I like this one right here. This is pretty funny. Three-time Trump voter here. Now, I don't know much about the Iranian regime, but what I do know is there's nothing worse than bombing them. What do you mean he decided not to bomb them? That's the worst thing anyone could possibly do. There it is right there. The good old three-time Trump voter. I'm a three-time Trump voter, and I'll tell you what, I don't know much about that Iranian regime. There's nothing worse than bombing them. Wait, he didn't bomb them? Well, if that's the worst thing he could have possibly done. They're so fucking retarded. They are absolutely out of their mind. Here's Glenn Beck right here.
Before 7 p.m. Eastern, you could scroll for maybe 30 seconds and find somebody absolutely certain we were all going to burn to death in the fiery furnace of Donald Trump's nuclear war.
It was 100%. Like, we were all done. It was over yesterday. If you were on Twitter, we were all done. Dead. Over. Completely finished. World was ending.
He was about to wipe out an entire civilization. And he said it, so he meant it. Nuclear war. War criminal. War criminal was being thrown around like it was already settled law. Calls for removal, panic dressed up as analysis, people speaking with total confidence about decisions that were made and they weren't even in the room for. And I heard it all day long. And I kept asking the same question over and over, and nobody wanted to sit with this even for a second. My question yesterday was, wait a minute. When has the president ever told the world exactly what he was going to do?
Exactly. That is such a good point. And again, you actually have to understand who you're dealing with. You actually have to have knowledge and understanding to realize what we are dealing with. Donald Trump does not tell anyone exactly what he's going to do. He never has, and he never will. That's not who he is.
When has not just this president, any president ever said, you know what? We're going in and we're going to hit these targets at this time. You don't broadcast your military plan.
You have had some presidents do that in the past. Let's be real.
To your own press, let alone tell the people you're targeting. Okay? Said this yesterday. Wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. If you do, you're not negotiating, you're performing. And if you're performing, you're putting lives at risk for the sake of optics. President doesn't do that. Okay. So what happened instead? Well, the Iranians spent the day preparing for the thing they were told was coming. They moved assets. They positioned people. Quite honestly, because of what Donald Trump said, they told the world exactly who they are. While our people in our country were calling our president a war criminal, they said nothing about the Iranians, revealing who they really are.
Yes.
You know, in case of war.
Most of these people hate America that are complaining in America, yet they hate America. They hate Donald Trump. They hate America. They hate freedom. Because a lot of them want to live in a world where the government controls them. That's what they want. They want daddy government to control them. The basic foundation of MAGA is freedom. Like that's real. Now, again, you can get into all the specifics and the details and all of that. But if you want to talk about a high level view of MAGA, MAGA is about the American dream and it's about freedom. It's about the freedom to control your own destiny. That's what MAGA stands for at a high level. You can get into the meat and potatoes of it and all of that. And that goes counter against all of these people that their entire existence is, I need to be defined by my disabilities. So they put all of their fucking disabilities in their bio, and they need you to use the proper pronouns, and they need all of the government handouts. They need the government to tell them what they can and can't do, what they're able to do, all of that. That is very much why they hate the idea of MAGA, which is about freedom.
We evacuate people, right? There's war coming. Let's get people out of this area. That might be target. What did they do? They put civilians in and around the key strike areas, power plants, infrastructure, all the locations they assumed were on a list. They moved their own people into harm's way. And nobody even asked how many people there were volunteers. Do you suppose they were all volunteers? They put their own people in harm's way. That's a war crime. So here's key number one. The Iranians were not reacting to a strike. They were reacting to a message they believed. There's a big difference there.
Because Donald Trump knows that there are many people out there that truly believe that he is crazy. He loves the idea that people think he's crazy. Oh, he loves it. Because he uses that to his advantage constantly. It's a perfect negotiation tactic. They think I'm crazy. They think I'll actually do this. It is a perfect place to be in from his perspective.
And while that was happening, the rhetoric here just kept going up and up and up and up. He's insane. He's going to wipe out an entire civilization with a nuke. He's going to drag us into something we can't control. He wants nuclear war. Mm-hmm. And then 8 o'clock came and went, and nothing. No nuclear strike, no mass leveling of cities, no sudden collapse into world war. Instead, he announces a pause, a 2-week ceasefire, mediated in part by Pakistan. Conditional, structured, tied into something very, very specific, the Strait of Hormuz opening safely. Negotiations are continuing. Neither side trusts each other, but both sides stepping back for just a minute. Now,
John freaking Murdoch for 20 says, Trump has never let anyone know his military plans. Why did people believe him this time? People should have seen right through this. Absolutely. But we have a lot of stupid people that hate Trump that will just believe whatever. Ministry of Wrong Things says people don't understand. Even if Trump did this as a temporary ploy to ease the markets and the ceasefire is broken, he still won. The ships are moving. Oil is coming down. He bought time. Absolutely. 100%. John freaking Murdoch says this is like people getting upset over Trump's mean tweets. Mean tweets are back, baby. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Ugly Duckley says, watching Podcast Inc. tuck their dangalangs back between their legs in the face of Trump's overwhelming force of personality is both revealing and satisfying. So glad they got exposed. So glad they exposed their corruption to us. You and me both. Sam Wise for 50 says, at this point, I believe there are too much political podcasts. They are chasing each other's talking points. The more outrageous the opinion, the more clicks. I'd rather listen to someone memeing and watching everything unfold. This is a very good point. And listen, maybe I've been doing this way too long with the internet, and I have just, I know more about the internet now. The internet has definitely changed a lot in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I do cover a lot of different topics, whether it's, entertainment, video games, movies, sports, theme parks, politics. And it kind of does give me a really good insight into everything that's going on. And the internet has certainly changed a lot. And I will continue to say that I do believe that the gap in between the real world and the internet has grown apart massively in the last 5 years. I believe that 3-4 years ago, I feel like there was a lot of parallels between the internet and real life. But the more that the internet has become algorithm centric and click through rate, which is a thing that's used for YouTube and all of that, and you've got monetization on Twitter now, it is truly turned into, it doesn't really, like, there's no connection between reality and the internet. As a matter of fact, like, look at this right here. I was going to talk about this on Geeks and Gamers, but it is an interesting social experiment from someone that probably would hate my guts. But these two tweets right here, okay? These two tweets were made simultaneously, okay? Simultaneously about the Mario Galaxy movie. So I want you to put this in perspective. These two tweets were made simultaneously from the same exact account, okay? Look at this right here. Just got out of the midnight showing for the Mario Galaxy movie, and I got to say, it was such a massive disappointment. The pacing was so fast that you couldn't appreciate any given scene, and the writing was a total mess. The movie was made for people to mindlessly point at the screen. Okay? Same account. Just got out of a midnight showing of the Mario Galaxy movie, and I got to say, it was such an amazing experience. All of the references were fun, and the movie was clearly made with a lot of love and reverence for not just Mario, but Nintendo as a whole. Visually gorgeous film, too. What's interesting is that this tweet right here has 10,000 likes. The negative one. Okay? The positive one has 2,500 likes. It was a social experiment. And that's what it was. And it just goes to show you that that's how the internet fucking works. All right? That's how it works. And they even admitted this. This person even said it right here. So I think because Krista responded to it. That's how I saw it. I posted them at the same time, too. This says a lot about society. Now, this person's a weirdo. I've looked at their bio. They're a fucking weirdo. But the point being is that that's just how the internet is. Now, that's not to say that one opinion or the other is the dominant opinion. What it does show you, though, is that one perspective motivates you to post one way and another perspective motivates you to post another way. Now we're seeing that with the politics side big time, okay? Big time. And right now in the world of podcast and politics, talking about Charlie Kirk, talking about Israel, talking about conspiracies of, Israel killing Charlie Kirk or President Trump being involved in killing Charlie Kirk for Israel, which is what Candace Owens is doing right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. My goodness. So that's the reality of where we are, and it is what it is. But thank you. JMNZZ450 says, just got to say, all of you people who aren't calling for a violent removal of Trump just haven't suffered. All of you combat veterans who largely agree with Trump's strategy just haven't suffered. That's why I'm better than you, because I've suffered. Let's fucking go. You just haven't suffered enough, people. And you should. Yes, JMZ JMNZZ 450 is being sarcastic because of Owen Schroyer's comments the other day, essentially saying you can't have an opinion unless you have suffered. That is his stance right there. Bill Herb says Iran killing their own people, using their own children as shields, attack civilian infrastructure, constantly and decades attacking the U.S. and the West. But Trump went too far making a mean tweet. Yes, 100%. Yep. Bill Herb says Israel has paid and sponsored absolute IDOTs for people. And the stupidest messages to make anti-Israel narratives seem crazy. That's why Jeremy's still getting funding. The only logical answer. Make it rain, Israel. I done said it, man. I'm on the market. I'm a free agent. Israel, Qatar. Start the bidding war. All right? Start the bidding war. Let me know. Money talks, bullshit walks. Ehab says the regime gets money from the Strait is a mistake. If it happens, they need to stay bankrupt for it to close it. Reduce the terror funding, slow arms, rebuild makes the people overthrow them easier. Yeah, and again, I don't know exactly how the details are for the Strait of Hormuz. I'm not sure if they're going to be a toll. I don't know if we're getting paid from it. Is Iran getting paid from it? I don't know. Bob says they only need you to believe 10%. Donald J. Trump. That's right. Red Walker says Joe Biden is mentally retarded tax. Yes, he is. Just taco about it, bro, says Greg Kirby. Thank you, Greg Kirby. Guess who else had an interesting take? Our good buddy Timmy Pool. That's right. I'm interested in what Tim's angle is here. Listen to this.
It's Donald Trump and Iran have both. It is now being reported that the Strait of Hormuz is open. Tankers are able to move freely through as Donald Trump and Iran have both agreed to a ceasefire in the region. Now, we are hearing reports that there are still rockets flying. Conflict is still happening to some degree. We've got Israel engaged in Lebanon, and there are certain Gulf states still fighting with Iran. But for the most part, it seems like things are starting to cool down. And the most important thing is that we allow them to and chill out and say, please get this through.
Mar Millen with 10
Donald Trump has announced
gifties.
a golden age. There's going to be a lot of money, big boats moving through, and we're going to get very rich. And my friends, if this plays out, looks like Donald Trump has secured a major piece on the geopolitical chessboard. What did we say 2 weeks ago on this show? Donald Trump was trying to bring Iranian oil into the Western sphere of influence. And right now, fingers crossed, Trump has announced some kind of joint venture with Iran to toll anybody passing through the Strait of Hormuz, which, yes, could make Iran lots of money, but could also make the United States lots of money. In the end, these Gulf states that want to transport liquid natural gas and crude oil through the Gulf are going to have to pay up. And that's massive for the U.S. and for the petrodollar system. Now, Trump is saying, thank you to China, thank you to Pakistan, we're getting things done. And we are, again, our fingers are crossed that this will ultimately wind down.
I don't anticipate that this will wind down. I think that common sense tells you you're dealing with the Middle East. And the Middle East doesn't know how to not be in a disaster situation at all fucking times. That's just the reality of it. It's the Middle East. This is what they're known for.
Trump may have just set the board up in such a way the U.S., the Western advantage, is so tremendous, there will be no more opposition. That is, no dominant Chinese hegemonic authority. This is all wishful thinking, mind you, because we're still in the thick of it, and we're hoping these things remain cool and solidify over the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, however, all of these, I don't know how to describe them, anti-Trump people
I like
who
your
use,
thinking.
well, let's put it this way. Firstly, all the anti-Trump people, which includes.
So Tim wants to call out some of his friends, but he can't. He wants to. All right. But listen to this.
The liberals who I don't know if you describe them, anti-Trump people who used, well, let's put it this way. Firstly, all the anti-Trump people, which includes the liberals who always hate Trump, and now the conservatives who've broken from Trump and hate him too, are attacking him for having not gone to war. These are grifters, they are liars, and they have nothing but my utter disdain. Some people who I consider friends of the show, even who have been on Timcast IRL.
Just call him out, Tim. Call him out. Who are you talking about, Tim?
Are sitting here insulting Trump and calling him a chicken despite being critical of the war the whole time. This really boils my blood. I want success in the region. I know there are reports of missile strikes ongoing. Israel.
I personally, and again, here's my thing. I believe Trump is trying to do the honorable thing in the Middle East. But I also don't believe that you can fix the Middle East. I just don't think you can fix it. Maybe you can fix it with Trump, but there's no long-term solution to this area in the world. It is what it is. They are who we thought they were. A little bit of Denny Green up there. They are who we thought they were. And so the idea of this being a utopia full of wonderful people that are going to have a great society, it's just not possible. It's just not realistic. Like, if you tell me Trump is going to be king and he can be there forever, then maybe, but Trump, he's not king and he's not going to be there forever.
Israel needs to stop firing on Iran. Iran stop firing on Israel. But we don't get there by insulting Donald Trump and saying it's a defeat, it's a loss, Trump is a chicken. Okay. You know what I realized?
Iran was great once upon a time. Yeah, I'm sure Martin Luther King Boulevard in every city didn't have crime for the first day it was around too. But you guess what? It is what it is. Martin Luther King Boulevard is always going to be Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Guys, everybody, how many sincere people actually exist on the internet? Honest question. Graham Allen, shout out. He seems sincere. Steven Crowder seems pretty consistent. I'm going to shout out all the Rumble people, by the way. No, but look, in all seriousness, you've got people on the right that are saying it's Taco Tuesday. Donald Trump, it means Trump always chickens out. These are people who said that Trump was being manipulated or blackmailed by Israel into going into a war with Iran. And
I need some clarification. G.I. Joe in my chat says, this clown says the dumbest shit. Me or Tim? Me or Tim? I mean, it applies to either. So I'm of course it does. Killer Mike says, that's just a dumb take. Jeremy needs to look up Iran in the 70s. Oh, you mean the video that everybody circulates? Yeah. I've seen the same fucking video as you. Guess what? I've also been to Iran as many times as you have. 0. Okay? So, yeah, I can look up a fucking video too.
Now that Trump is ending that war, they're insulting him and calling him a chicken. They're grifters. Look, I'm not going to just come saying, like, don't listen to these people. You should listen to people. You should listen to many of these people, hear what they say and understand it, but don't take these people seriously. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to break it all down for you. And there's one thing that is clear. The whole time, I have done my best to look at the situation and remain cool-headed, consistent, principled, or otherwise. What I mean is, I did not vote for Donald Trump to go to war. I did not vote for incursions into Iran or missile strikes. Not the first time he did it, not now. Now, the most effective thing you can always do is keep one hand on the steering wheel. There's no reason for me to join a...
This is the best take on Iran right here. Hang on. Oh, where'd it go? This is the best take of Iran I've seen in the chat right here. It's a shithole, but the women are hot. 10 out of 10 take right there from Heavy D. 10 out of 10 take. Boom. There it is.
Chorus of people screaming in Trump's face, you will lose your ability to influence the situation. You may not be able to control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Staying involved, being respectful, but critical is the best thing you can do. And people came out and they insulted him. They called him a shill. They called him a puppet of Israel. They insulted the man. And they got war for it. And what has their reaction been thus?
But see, like, so Tim is essentially saying that again, let's listen to what he says right here, okay? He's basically saying that because the haters taunted Trump, Trump went to war with Iran. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Staying involved, being respectful, but critical is the best thing you can do. And people came out and they insulted him. They called him a shill. They called him a puppet of Israel. They insulted the man. And they got war for it. And
they got... You think Trump went to war with Iran because people criticized him? Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Trump's like, oh, you podcast bros want to criticize me? I'll just go to war with Iran. Like, what?
What has their reaction been thus far? To insult the man once again. So I just put it like this. When there's a kid, and there's like, the way I described it last night, there's a quarry with a 100-foot drop into the water. And the kid's like, I'm not going to do it. What do you say to make the kid do it? You call him a chicken. You say, you're a chicken. You won't do it. Come on, chicken. So all of these people on the left and the right who are claiming they never wanted this war, they want this war. They are bloodthirsty psychopaths. They never actually cared. Now, in all seriousness, maybe they're not in favor of the war, but the content. Ooh, the content. My concern is I voted for this man. I believe he's a general net positive for the country in many ways. I think the Iran strikes ultimately created tremendous risk for this country. But I want to make sure I can be reasonable.
He is right about the people's motivations, but I don't agree that Trump went to war with Iran because of his critics. I believe Trump has his reasons for why we had this military operation. I don't necessarily like that we had a military operation in the Middle East, but whatever. Trump has his reasons and I support him for that. But I don't believe it's because podcast bros were taunting Trump. I don't believe that had anything to do with it.
And try and persuade the people in his administration and around that there needs to be a swift exit here, talking about polls, talking about the midterms. And I am hopeful this message resonated and the people who work with Trump said, we need a safe exit. Now we're looking at a toll.
Correct. Trump is the most criticized and hated man in the world. I don't think he cares or can act on it to please anyone. Agreed.
The U.S. could be collecting billions of dollars through this transit, Iran as well. But Trump, I'll tell you this, they're saying Trump lost, it's over. He killed 40 of the Iranian government officials, and now they're setting up a joint venture to toll energy transported through the Strait of Hormuz. The West has just secured influence, control over energy in the region with Iran's help. Yeah, take the W. Here, let me read. I'm going to rant on this. I got to show you what these people are saying.
All right, so that's enough from Tim. Apparently, Caroline Levitt is live right now. Let's see here. Is she still live?
But take the secretary at his word. And also the president has reiterated this as well in his own words of that we're not going to move anything immediately. Again, this is a 2-week ceasefire where we hope at the end and we expect at the end we'll have a good agreement between the United States and Iran. But in the meantime, we're going to ensure that our military is always at the ready of the commander in chief. I'll take a couple more in the back. Sure. Thank you. Thank you. On NATO, I'll take your question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Caroline. On NATO, can you tell me, is the United States still considering withdrawing from NATO? Is that still a possibility?
It's something the president has discussed, and I think it's something the president will be discussing in a couple of hours with Secretary General Ruta, and perhaps you'll hear directly from the president following that meeting later this afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, we missed it. Apparently, it was a pretty good press briefing, though. So, right here, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt reveals President Trump literally threw in the trash the 10-point plan from Iran that spread like wildfire. So here we go.
I would strongly advise the media against running with narratives that have no basis in fact. What Iran says publicly or feeds to all of you in the press is much different than what they communicate to the United States, the president, and his team privately. Never underestimate President Trump's ability to successfully advance America's interests and broker peace. I would strongly advise the media against running with
There you have that. Let's see this.
the 12-day war with Iran and Israel last year. It takes time sometimes for these ceasefires to be fully effectuated. And one of the results of Operation Epic Fury was we completely dismantled Iran's command and control center, which makes it difficult for them to pass messages up and down the chain. And so we understand that. I would caution a little bit of patience, but of course we want to see the ceasefire effectuated and abided by all parties as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
The 12 days.
So there we have that. Let me catch up on some of these super chats really quick. Mar Millen with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mar Millen. Appreciate you as always. Predator Corpse says, Jeremy, I see highly educated people, the high IQs trying to tell me that Trump is the devil. How can so many smart people be so stupid? Maybe we're just too retarded to be affected by TDS, Jeremy. I think that there's a lot of people that are just willing to believe whatever gets them the most worked up because that's what they need. And it is what it is. So, but ultimately, TDS has broken so many people across the board that it will be a phenomenon that I believe should be studied into the future. But absolutely, I think that TDS might end the world one day. I think it may be the end of the world. It could be it's the true pandemic of our time. Most people at my job have TDS as Emo Taco. It's crazy, man. It is crazy how it's just broken so many people that otherwise are very respectable, very intelligent, very knowledgeable. But yeah, it's wild. Marmellin says, liberation of the Iranian babes, and I'm not talking about the goats. I think we all know what you're talking about, brother. Normal Man says, wasn't Tim Spurging about the war 1 week ago? He might have been. I don't watch Tim too much. I watch him occasionally, so I can't say for sure if he was or wasn't. I am not positive on that. Bill Herb says, panicking makes panicins. This is the 47th time you survived World War III, and I'm on my 24th. Honestly, this was almost as bad as the last time Trump did something. It's just getting worse. The whole thing's just getting worse. Fear the door greeter. Got him. Dude, this is one of my favorite accounts right here. Bill Herb says, when we will get Trump next time, I have morals and I need you to know I do. Piano Dean says, Taco, Trump always checkmates opponents. Jeffrey Andrews says, Trump spoke the language Iran would understand. And guess what? It worked. Trump also loves trolling leftists because they fall for it all the time. All the time. Print on Corpse says, Jeremy, can we get a hamburger helper helping hand mascot emoji? That would be amazing. Suffa 207 Patriot. Is 207 Patriot still here? Really? Nah, no way he's still here. These are from a little bit earlier. So Mr. Bentham says, I'll let Gary know he's streaming over you, bad friend. Technically, I'm streaming over him. Emo Otaku says, how mad would you be if Beardo took your car out for a joyride? I don't let anybody drive my fucking car. Nobody. John Jones says, can't wait for the inevitable movie about the pilot's rescue. Maybe Mel Gibson can make it when he's done with Resurrection of Christ. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. Steve Flomo says, peace with Iran, Qatar, and Israel grifters most affected. Now Trump will get Iran to pay us for protection from UAE. US won. Win wins. Total victory. Total MAGA victory. That's how it goes, boys. Simple as that. But it's not over by any stretch. So again, I think this could all break out again. I don't trust Iran at this point in time. I just don't. So we'll have to see how it goes. But ultimately, based on where we are now, obviously Trump made the right moves. But I'm not just going to sit here and just go, yeah, wait, it's all over. We're just going to have peace and happiness and, you know, sunshine and rainbows now. It's going to be great. Dude, what is this? Is this a new tweet from Trump? Marjorie Trader Brown. Green turns to brown. Holy shit. How does this man do this? Holy fuck. This is amazing. He put in parentheses the context. Seat in Congress has been taken over by a wonderful and talented man, Clay Fuller, who won convincingly and right from the beginning, despite many people running for that Trump plus 37 seat and despite the stench left by Green. Congratulations to Clay Fuller, a very large improvement over his deranged predecessor. MacGyver says, Dems are like an outhouse full of crap and disconnected from everything. Alex of the Mountain says, I bought X-Wing a gifty is he the pork chop sandwich guy? He is the pork chop sandwich guy. John Jones says, is everyone paranoid schizophrenic now? Pretty much. Mr. Bentham says, all the bandwagoners are showing their true colors. Little Jim Taylor says, he can't keep getting away with this. A-Rod says, Iran has been threatening death to America for decades. Trump threatens death to Iran, and half of America clutches their pearls. 1,000%. Taco Woman Sandy Ravish says, Panikins are a bunch of grandstanding crybabies. Eric says, I will fix Megyn Kelly, or at least give it a good try. Doing it for all of you. My sacrifice will not be in vain. The struggle will be long and hard. We really appreciate you taking that sacrifice, Eric. I know it's tough to step away from the gay scene to, hook up with a woman. I know that's tough for you, man. And I really appreciate the sacrifice that you're making. So brave and stunning. I mean, again, Eric K stepping away from all the gay sex to try to fix Megyn Kelly for all of us. Really respect you for that, brother. Really do, man. That's good stuff. Valen Star says, Islam only responds to violence and strong posturing. She's clueless and has never dealt with Islamic men clearly. I'll remember this. So okay, that's your point about Megyn Kelly. And let me pull that up again so everybody knows what we're talking about. And I'll put it in my context because, again, I know we've got more people watching now. This Megyn Kelly take has got to be one of the most brain dead takes I have heard. But right here, this was Megyn Kelly crying about Donald Trump's tweet one more time.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 3D, yes, shut up. Fucking shut up about that shit. You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians just casually in a social media post. I am the first to try to understand Trump and his strategy and to not freak out over his weird social media posts and language that is loose and incendiary. Truly, I've lived with it for 10 plus years. I learned it the hard way when I was on the receiving end of it for 9 months. And truly, I think that was a gift to me in many ways because it helped me really come to understand what he does with his social media. But this is completely irresponsible and disgusting. This is wrong. It's wrong. He should not be doing it.
Shut up, Megyn Kelly. Okay. So the point being is you always have to, as a leader, you have to shift to whatever situation you're trying to deal with, because you're always going to be dealt with different challenges along the way. So I've talked about this before. Years ago, we had somebody on the team who has obviously since passed away, and that's Uche Nwaneri. Uche, rest in peace to Big Uche. Uche was a former NFL football player. He played in the league for, I think, 7 years. And Uche, became part of Geeks and Gamers. And dealing with Uche was different than dealing with anybody else because he was from a different fucking planet, okay? He was from a different planet. Former NFL football player, multimillionaire, from that world, loved Geeks and Gamers, became part of the team. There would be times in our group chats where Uche would just fucking fight with everybody. And I'm like, Uche, you are not helping the situation at all. Like, fucking chill. And I would message him, then I would call him, and I'm calmly talking to him, calmly saying hey man, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And he would argue back. He would argue back. He would argue back. He would just not fucking shut the fuck up. And then finally, I just cussed him out. I just went off on him, talked down to him, screamed at him, chastised him. And do you know what? He listened. He listened immediately when I talked to him like a coach would talk to him. Talking to him in a calm, respectful way didn't mean shit. But as soon as I cussed him out and talked down to him and chastised him, yes, sir. Man, my bad. I got you. I hear what you're saying. Immediately, like that. That is just how you deal with different situations. Megyn Kelly knows nothing about this. And obviously, Trump deals with this on a whole different level than any of us can understand, me included. But that's my little relatable story from that perspective. And for Megyn Kelly to sit here and think that Donald Trump is dealing with the most evil terrorist regime in the fucking world, and he's supposed to talk nice to them. He's supposed to be nice. Shut the fuck up.
I don't care that it's his negotiation tactic is to kill an entire country full of civilians, men, women, and children. An American president so that the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. It's just wrong. It's not hard to say it. It's not hard to recognize it. I wish he would stop doing this. He can't negotiate without doing this. What does that say about him? What does that say about the position that our country is in right now in these negotiations? He's got to say this. He can't be a dignified, strong leader without threatening a bunch of war crimes. What is he, Genghis Khan? What is he trying to do? And why?
He's trying to negotiate with the most evil fucking regime in the world.
Why can't he do it with strength, threats? Sure, go for it. That don't diminish and demean the United States of America in this way.
So he's supposed to, he can threaten, but it has to be a threat that's up to your standard. That's not mean enough, right? As long as he can threaten, but he can't make mean threats. Okay? As a matter of fact, and I don't know the answer to this question, but hold on just a minute. Hang on. I know that I've seen this before. I've got to look this up. Let's see. I swear I've seen her mention mean tweets before. I swear I have. I know that I've seen her talking about mean tweets are back when Trump won or whatever. I'm almost certain that I've seen her say that. I might be wrong, but I feel like I have seen her say that. But either way, this is nonsense. This is ridiculous. And this is the type of mindset that will get the United States back to the Obama era right here. Debate only Rosie O'Donnell. We all remember that one. We all remember that one. As a matter of fact, I think it's a good time to pull that one up. I think it's a good time to pull that up because it's just amazing. Here we go. Is this it? Let's see if I can find it. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Here we go, right here.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account...
Thank you.
He said thank you. He said thank you.
For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees. Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man we should elect as president? And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democratic nominee, that you are part of the war on women?
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either. This country is in big trouble. We don't win anymore. We lose to China. We lose to Mexico, both in trade and at the border. We lose to everybody. And frankly, what I say, and oftentimes it's fun, it's kidding, we have a good time. What I say is what I say. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that. But you know what? We need strength, we need energy, we need quickness, and we need brain in this country to turn it around. That I can tell you right now.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. So yeah, there we have it. My goodness. These people are pathetic. And again, like, let's just remember, okay? President Trump was also very invested in Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart's relationship. And of course he was right, because Kristen Stewart turned out to be a feminist weirdo. And, you know, he basically said that Robert Pattinson should leave her. And guess what? He was right. Trump is always right, okay? He's always right. Yes, this is real. This is real. Bottom tweet says, Robert Pattinson should not take Kristen Stewart back. She cheated on him like a dog and will do it again. Just watch. He can do much better. Everyone is asking me to speak more on Robert and Kristen. I don't have time except to say, Robert, drop her. She cheated on you and will again. Like, this, do you think anybody's really asking him about Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart? Probably not. But he's just like, everyone is asking me. Typical Trump right there. So you love to see it. It's fantastic. Your Barmy says Genghis Trump. Python Bacon says, go bake a cake, Megyn Kelly. I agree completely. Go bake a cake and shut up, silly woman. Robot versus Cyborg says, hey, good Jer. It's like TDS is refined to a super concentrate now. highly contagious, suffa Dems, suffa Bishes, Beardo Fat, hail the 199. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Red Walker says it's not a war crime the first time Megyn Kelly, it's FAFO. Super Sentai guy says Megyn Kelly and Alex Jones are total retards probably. If he stops talking that way, then they won't ever bow down. It's a bluff, but grifter's gonna grift, I guess. Yep. Jeffrey Andrews says, didn't Trump do the same thing with North Korea? Yes, he did. Incoherent Name says, Iran agreed to a ceasefire within 12 hours of Trump's tweet. That's not enough time to get poll numbers like Alex Jones is saying. He's spinning. Night Saber says, we watched them move everything with satellites. Chess. Bill Herb says, seeing Alex Jones at the moment would be like if Jeremy decided to praise the Snake Eyes movie or praise Kathleen Kennedy. Correct. Alex Arrow Cave says, I'm 199% MAGA, Meta PC, Circle 199. MAGA Mike says, if MAGA are so stupid, then why are we always right? You are correct, sir. Mara Millenford says, I really wish people would look into our founding fathers. I'm so tired of people thinking our presidents were always dignified and proper. They were savages for their first time. For fuck's sake, FemCon BS as usual. Yeah, this idea that the president needs to be, this upstanding person that never says anything wrong. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. That is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. The president needs to be tough. Mark Millen says the FemCon women that infest the hell out of the right will ruin the party at the end of the day. They're just like the leftists they claim they hate. Yes, you are correct. 8 o'clock says if Trump acted like a civil leader, he would have backed down from the corrupt courts, his assassin, and the political system that hates him. Trump wouldn't be Trump if he didn't behave this way. If Trump acted like a civil leader, do you know who Trump would be? He would be Bernie Sanders, a cucked loser. Okay? Because that's who Bernie Sanders is. Bernie Sanders ran on this, I'm an outsider and I'm going to disrupt the system. And he gained a huge following by doing that. And as soon as the system chewed him up and stole his nomination, what did Bernie Sanders do? He cucked to the very system that he claimed he was going against, supported Hillary, and is pretty much a forgotten loser now. That's Bernie Sanders right there. And that's the difference between Bernie and Trump, is that when the system tried to screw over Trump, Trump fought back. Trump didn't back down. Trump said, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere. And that is essentially why they hate him as much as they do. Bob says, on D-Day, we brought puppies and flowers, I guess. That's how it works, isn't it? Bill Herb says, the internet is for corn, Jeremy. It's never meant to represent IRL. I agree with that, but I do think that years ago, there were definitely more parallels with the internet in real life than there are now. I just think that the gap is getting wider every single day. Lord Botha says, the internet is real life, like car salesman is a nice guy. I'm not your buddy, guy. Says, I was bigly disappointed in Barnes and Jones. I mean, did they forget Little Rocket Man with the Trump's Fire and Fury? I don't know what's going on with either one of them, man. It's pretty crazy, though. I am Brockatron. Says, all the taco tards have no clue what just happened. The regime was taken out, the terrorist military crippled, and the strait is open. Stephen DeLeon says, shout out West Texas, Bills Mafia, Notre Dame rules all. Beardo Fat, Stephen DeLeon rules all. Where the hell have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Taker says, Trump is renaming the strait of the gay of, I don't even know how to say that, Taker. Dermy Wormy says, Tim did call out several of the grifters last night, but still hasn't called out the big dogs like Dave Smith and even carried water for Tucker. Sounds about right. Vlad the Man says, Hero, not sure what Trump is going to do tax. Have we heard from Tucker Carlson today at all? I haven't seen anything from Tucker Carlson today. Very interested to hear that. but I haven't seen anything from him. It doesn't mean we haven't heard anything. Or I mean, it doesn't mean he hasn't said anything. I just haven't heard anything from him at this moment in time. Let's see if anybody says that if we've heard anything. Is it raining outside? It is raining outside. Oh, Alex Jones has Owen Benjamin on today. Yikes. Okay. What is this? Hang on. The White House is admitting Tucker Carlson, myself, and a bunch of prominent people going after Trump had a huge effect. I got to listen to this.
And the White House is admitting Tucker Carlson, myself, and a bunch of other prominent people going after Trump had a huge effect with the base. Most of the military telling Trump it's a bad idea. He gave them a lot of support. Susie Wiles, I told you 2 weeks ago, was asking members of the cabinet to push back on Trump. Then she leaked it to the news last week. So there's a lot of people trying to get Trump's brain out from under the control of Benjamin Netanyahu and his little wizard over there, Mark Levin, that literally was controlling Trump's brain. And Trump said so in repeated posts. This is what I think. Listen to him. That was 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Last week, oh, you're a really bad person, really evil. I shouldn't have listened to you, but you tell me I'm great.
So Israel controls everything, yet people in the White House that is controlled by Israel have now talked Trump out of being controlled by Israel. But Israel controls the White House and all of our politicians. But the people within the White House and politicians have talked Trump out of being controlled by Israel. What?
So I did. I mean, it's like stream of consciousness craziness. So that is the facts. I got a bunch of clips I want to go to right now. But Israel announced last night, Netanyahu, there's video. He said, we're not stopping. We're going to keep hitting Iran. We're going to keep hitting Lebanon and just some of the biggest bombings yet. Iran fires missiles back. All over Fox News, Hannity. Why are they shooting missiles? They broke the deal, even though Israel had just announced they were going to intensify attacks. And again, Fox just can't help but manipulate its viewers. Just can't help but think we've got stupid viewers. We've got idiots watching. Let's lie to them. Now, Iran came out about 2 hours ago and said, yeah, the ceasefire wasn't abided by. And Vance had said Israel was going to stand down. They didn't. So we're reclosing the strait and we're going to continue attacking. So basically, there is no peace deal. Trump just agreed to something he hadn't even read so that it would make oil drop, which it did, from $150 a barrel to $98 a barrel. A $52 drop overnight. Now, what's going to happen when it becomes clear to everybody and the dust settles that the war is still going? Will Trump stop his, we'll destroy your civilization, you'll never...
Yesterday, Trump was a mad king who was getting us into World War III, even though you said World War III already happened 2 weeks ago and it was actually World War IV. You said Trump was a mad king and he's unstoppable and he's getting us into World War III and it's going to ruin the United States of America. Today, Trump agrees to a ceasefire for 2 weeks. And you're saying that Trump just blindly agreed to something he didn't even read. But you claimed that he was a mad king that was getting us into a war, but now he's just blindly agreeing to a peace deal that he doesn't even read so that he can get out of it. What the fuck are you talking about? This is fucking crazy.
Come back, we'll blow up your water plants. Genocide talk? War crimes talk? Because that's what caused the backlash. And a bunch of Republican senators saying, hey, buddy, when you do stuff, you can't call it a war crime. You got to call it something else. We're all for blowing them up, but You don't give the definition of it and say, I'm going to commit a crime. I'm going to rob a bank and I'm going to shoot the tellers when I go in. I mean, it's bad guy stuff. It's super villain, Marvel comic. Give in to my demands or I'll destroy your planet. I am from the Bagugian Empire. I am from Cyclonia. I am from Mars. I am here. You take me to your leader. You have 1 hour to capitulate till we destroy the planet.
I don't even know what to add, man. I mean, it's very representative of the world we're in and what is very popular online right now by running with that narrative. Again, Candace Owens has one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and she literally just said that Donald Trump was involved with the assassination of Charlie Kirk on behalf of Israel. And there's a lot of people that believe her. There's a lot of people that believe her. Everybody has lost their fucking mind. Bill Herbst has been seeing this ad on Twitter of support Walter White. It's a POV of Walt Jr. asking for support for his father for his cancer. They even have photos like it's a real person. It's fantastic. Breaking Bad memes are always going to be relevant because Breaking Bad will always be relevant. Marmillion says, hold on. If this is all about Trump saying he agrees with Mark Levin at one point claiming he was MAGA or some shit months ago, are these podcast bros that fickle with their ego? I just truly don't think they care, man. I truly don't. Candace Owens, and I give her credit, to be fair, Candace Owens is the person that opened the floodgates for all of this. When Candace went on the Charlie Kirk conspiracy bandwagon and became the #1 podcast, everybody saw this was the path forward right here. Every single person saw this as like, this is the opportunity. This is where we go. This is where we go to get the clicks and all of that. Now, again, you have Candace Owens, who is talking to the literal most retarded people on the internet by telling them that Israel is controlling everything and that you're not allowed to talk about Israel, while being the #1 podcast on the internet. She's actively telling you that you're not allowed to talk about Israel as the #1 podcast in the fucking world, fully monetized on YouTube, but she's not allowed to talk about it. And you have people going, it's crazy. They keep silencing you, Candace. They're holding you down, Candace. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. It's amazing. Holy fuck. 8 o'clock says, I think Tim took the chicken comment a little too personally. Piano Dean says, Taco, TDS always comes out. Andrew says, Donald Trump went to war with Iran for the clout. Tim Pool, probably. Campfire Face says, you can disagree with Trump even after voting for him. It's understandable and not agree 100% with everything he says 24/7, 365. Someone will be lying. Just a dude on the phone says, Taco, Trump always clutches ovaries. Vlad says, I ran somewhere, but who ran first? Slain Hope says, the left relies on people being stupid to believe them. That explains the state of public schools, graduating illiterates. It's all part of the plan. Well, again, my personal, feeling on it is that, school in general is a scam. And especially when you start getting into college and all of that, but that's just my personal choice. Okay. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not telling you what you should do, but I believe that the public school system is an absolute scam. I believe if you have the resources and if you have the ability, I believe you should homeschool your children. I think that's always going to be the better option because the public school system is a total and complete scam. And then, of course, you get into higher education and all of that is a scam with exceptions. There's certain things that you need further education for, all of that. But Connect 200 says that China had to step in. Iran still doesn't get it. Mark of Reality says Megan was Miss California, but comes off a lot better when muted. Can we set her up with Beardo? Tacos Woman Sandy Ravage says Andrew Jackson was swashbuckling badass. NTR Uncle says, reminder, there's no such thing as a conservative woman. They just go where the wind blows. Don't follow any women on social media except for Krista. Except for Krista? Simp. Dude, this is how they get you right here. Don't follow any women. Well, except for one woman. I mean, except for one, okay? Like, she's fine, but none of the others. You are busted, sir. All right? You are busted. I'm not surprised about Barnes. The guy swept for Rakeda when his daughter tested positive for sugar booger and a moral grifter. Let's see. Slain Hope says they criticized Trump's language while at the same time speaking like him. They betrayed this country for clicks and clout. They're snake oil salesmen. Quentin says, gamer question, thoughts on Final Fantasy VII? I was never a big Final Fantasy person personally. I played a couple of them in the early days, but I'm not a big Final Fantasy player. Ministry of Rome thinks says Trump did not fall for agreeing on an Iran deal. The ceasefire itself was not a deal. It was a pause that the war, the war so the deal is possible. I love Jones, but he's being a manipulative panicking. He absolutely is. Goat Scroat says, is it time for the U.S. DOJ to investigate American influencers taking foreign money without disclosing it? I think so. I mean, I think this is a huge problem, man. I really do. I think this is a huge fucking problem. But at the same time, whatever. I mean, but if you look at the drastic change in opinions of these people, it's like, where is this being motivated from? Something is motivating this. And it's just like using common sense. And wherever that money is coming from, whether it's Israel, whether it's Qatar, whether it's some other place that nobody's talking about, my theory on it is, I can point blank tell you, at least to my knowledge anyway, okay, to my knowledge, I have never received a request from a foreign country for money. I've never received it to my knowledge. Now, I could have. There's been like Nigerian prince fucking scams that I've gotten email and shit like that, but I have never. Now, again, I'm not a big deal. I'm nothing compared to some of these other big timers. So whatever. But I've never personally gotten an offer. Because if I did, I might have taken it. But I've never gotten any type of offer or anything like that. But when you see these people going on these crazy, strange kind of takes out of nowhere, it makes you go like, where is this coming from? How is this possible? Connect says maybe the Alex Jones detractors were right. Goat Scroat says when panicans act this way, the best is to just understand them as permanently hostile and start ignoring what they have to say. Brockatron says the fake right are mostly actually Marxist. Candace and the people in your comments are exactly like left. Everything is to be blamed on Orange Gontan man and Israel. They're all emotional flamers. It's been an uptick for sure, but it's not just that. You're not a sellout because they did not offer you enough. Yeah, I mean, basically. I mean, are you trying to call me out on that? Like, yeah, they didn't offer me enough. So, yeah, I'm not a sellout. So, Radioactive Actual. Jeremy, the only world war I'm interested in is the World War 199. Quinn's sports question. Kurt Gibson walk-off memory. My main memory of the Dodgers World Series victories was Oral Hershiser. Many of you may not remember that name, but I was a huge Oral Hershiser fan for the Los Angeles Dodgers. That was one of him and Dale Murphy for the Atlanta Braves. Those were two of my favorite players, my first favorite baseball players right there. I don't necessarily have any immediate memories of the Gibson walk-off home run. But obviously I remember the replays after it, but like, I don't recall watching that when it happened. The Bulldog, that's right, Oral Hershiser. G&G Play Highlights says, I miss Rush Limbaugh. A lot of people do. Stephen Leon says, money talks. I believe all these people have been bought. There's no other explanation for it. Ryan Kelly says, you and Salty Cracker are all I listen to anymore. Salty is a real one, man. Salty is a real one for sure. The Mass Marvel says, these people are Terry from Reno 911. Trump murdered me. Wah. The Exalted Patriarch. To the Tards in the chat, Cope and C, 31 months of support to my N-word, D-Day, Cobra, and the 199. General Duvalli says, political commentators just cry about Trump, but don't complain about the majority of our politicians that are the problem. It's ridiculous. Gremlin says, I love the taco crowd. Mad that they can't call him a war criminal. Just say Orange Man bad and move on. Clutch City Fan says, 29 months of being in the internet's most fun family. Hail the 199. Hail Snake Pit. Happy Jessica. Most importantly, Jeremy is still a big thank you. Waffle Master says, Trump wants title. Big ask. Or Trump wants, is it little? Big ask. Panikins panic. Gets the middle amount. More than he wanted at the start. Repeat cycle. It's like he wrote a book on it and gets them every time. The art of the deal. Stormbreaker says, reading my first two super chats. Did I miss those? Hang on, Stormbreaker. I got to look and see. Sometimes StreamYards doesn't get them and they don't show up. So I have to go back to the top of the list. I thought I got to yours in the beginning. Let's see. I don't see any from you, Stormbreaker. They're not showing up on even on my YouTube list. They're not showing up. Hang on. Yeah, they're not showing up at all. So I'm looking though. Yeah, they aren't showing up at all on my list. Just say it right now. I got you. Just say it right now. And I'll read it out. I'll highlight you. You missed my first super chat. I don't see it. I don't see it. Siege Garden says, happy Jessica, D-Gay Cobra, hail the 199. Runs with Phantom says, I think I'm voting for JD in 28. I hope Rubio can wait for his turn in the 30s and accept the VP role. Yeah, again, I'm 100%. I'm 100% JD Vance, for sure. So, YouTube stripes again. They probably didn't like super chats. I don't know. The one just says Hail Cobra Commander and Jeremy and King Trump. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. You always send those in the beginning, but I did not see those come in today. But I do appreciate it, Stormbreaker, as always. I don't care what Eric K says about you. I don't care how mean he is. I appreciate you. And that's all that really matters right there. Play video. What video? What is this right here? Reality versus Russian propaganda, headlined by Joe Kent. Ceasefire day one. Israel took multiple waves of Iranian missile fire after the ceasefire was announced. Kuwait reports that more than a dozen drones were launched by Iran since 8 a.m. UAE is currently under an Iranian missile attack. But of course, it's absolutely essential that we ensure that the Israelis do not sabotage this 2-week ceasefire. So fucking accurate, dude. Good Lord, man. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Good Lord, man. What's Kevin O'Leary? O'Leary have to say?
And I think about this. If you knew with certainty that you would get through and you had to pay a price, insurance premiums would come down. All the other important waterways, Suez Canal, Panama Canal, we don't have rogue nations controlling those. So there's a cost to get through with certainty. I think the market would be willing to pay for that. And that could also fund, what Iran's going to need to rebuild the infrastructure they've lost. It depends if they really want peace or not. If they don't, there still could be a tithe, but it would be for the nations that care, the region, UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and of course the Chinese and Singapore and Japan. They'll all pay. And if it's $5 or $6 billion a month, it's nothing compared to the value of stability in getting 21% of the world's oil through that strait. I like this outcome. I don't like war, but this tells me the region's coming back big, because if you can get peace in the Middle East, it's one of the fastest growing regions on earth.
Wow. That's it.
Yeah, and I think
We'll see what happens. I love the anti-Israel people. I'm going to trust the only guy Israel lets report from inside their country. Should I trust Tucker Carlson, who straight up lied when he said that he was detained by Israel, and then the video came out and it showed that Tucker Carlson was taking selfies and signing autographs? Should we trust that guy? Is that who we should trust? Good Lord, man. You motherfuckers will believe anything. Retards. Fucking stupid losers. Oh, they detained Tucker Carlson. They beat him. They beat him, guys. They gave him the George Floyd treatment. Poor Tucker Carlson. Video comes out. Tucker's taking selfies, signing autographs. Man, it's almost like all of you motherfuckers just lie and make shit up. And then when the truth comes out, much like leftists, you don't talk about it. No more discussion. Just like when Juicy Smollett was accused of being beaten by MAGA supporters. The left freaks out. Oh my gosh, racism. Then it's proven that he lied. You know what? None of them talked about it anymore. They didn't want to talk about the situation anymore because it went completely against their everyone is racist narrative. Now, to the point of the anti-Israel crowd, just like leftists, are there racist people in the United States of America? Yeah, of course there is. Does racism dominate the United States of America? No, it doesn't. But the left will take a small story and a small example and try to build it into this overwhelming narrative of this controls everything. This is the same ploy that the anti-Israel crowd uses. Are there problems with Israel having connections to our government? Absolutely. Are there way too many politicians that are tied to Israel and their interest in Israel? Of course there is. Are they running our fucking entire country? No, they're not. It's the same fucking playbook as the left in their identity politics. It's the same exact playbook by the same exact retarded motherfuckers that are running with this narrative. And you either see that or you don't. But that's exactly what it is. You're talking about very stupid fucking people believing this bullshit. Let's see. I'm not for 10 says anytime the anti-Israel crowd cries at you, just call them a storm fig. They get so mad. It's actually storm gamer word, but thank you. I appreciate it. They get mad at anybody that doesn't agree with them 100%. You have to agree 100% or you are bought and paid for by Israel. That is how they operate. And they accept nothing except complete and total agreement in every single way, shape, or form. Samurai says that death to America 1 million times, poor virgin ears. Lapco says, wow, Jer's oral fixation was a baseball guy. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot says, Jer Orange Gotten like Orange Gotten, what? Eric says, I'm never mean. Let the truth set you free. Quentin says, soundtrack rank. Hercules, Aladdin, Tarzan, Lion King. Fuck. They're all top tier, but I probably got to put the Lion King on, like, probably Lion King number 1. Son of a bitch, man. And I don't even know how to go 2 through 4 or 5 or whatever. I don't know how to do 2 through 4 because it's so close, man. They're all so close. That's a tough one. Jacob says they want Pat for shit. I mean, pay. They'll pass it. They'll pass it to the U.S. I think that's what you mean. Pass it to the U.S. All right, let's see. We got more to talk about. We're not going anywhere. We got that, and hang on. What is this right here? JD Vance just called out Zelensky for threatening to send armed soldiers to right-wing Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban's house. What? Hang on.
I wasn't even aware that Zelensky had said that he was going to send private soldiers to the prime minister's residence until yesterday. Victor actually told me that, and then I went and looked it up. Almost couldn't believe it's true, but it's true. That's completely scandalous. You should never have a foreign head of government or a foreign head of state threatening the head of government of an allied nation. It's preposterous. It's unacceptable. And what I find so interesting about, there's a lot of conversation about foreign influence in our elections. So you saw this back in 2016, where a lot of the American media said that it was a true scandal that the Russian government bought like $500,000 of Facebook advertisements during the 2016 campaign. And for what it's worth, I don't want Russia involved in our elections in the same way that I'm sure you don't want any other country involved in your elections. I've also been told that the vice president of the United States coming and saying that Viktor Orban is doing a good job and is a helpful statesman to the cause of peace, that's foreign influence. But what's not foreign influence is when the European Union threatens billions of dollars withheld from Hungary because you guys protect your borders. That's apparently not foreign influence. What's not foreign influence is when the Ukrainians shut down pipelines, causing suffering among the Hungarian people in an effort to influence an election. That's allegedly not foreign influence. It doesn't pass the smell test. Foreign influence is when other governments threaten, cajole, and try to use economic influence to tell you how to vote. And that, to the Hungarian people, whether you like Viktor Orban or not, whether you agree with this or that policy, that is fundamentally an assault on your sovereignty. You know what I have never done, even though we have, of course, a lot of economic power in the United States of America. We are the economic and military superpower of the world. We have never threatened Hungary, saying, if you don't vote for Viktor Orban, you're not going to get this and this. We would never do that because we respect the Hungarian people enough to respect their sovereignty. The fact that so many foreign actors, whether they're transnational organizations like the bureaucrats in Brussels, or whether it's foreign governments, are literally threatening the Hungarian people, vote this way or we're going to exact our revenge on you, that should make you very angry. You should vote against that for the simple reason that you are sovereign in this country. One of the coolest things about my visit is, late yesterday, when it was closed down, we went and saw the crown of St. Stephen in the parliament. And I love the symbolism of this, of course, because it's one of the oldest, maybe the oldest surviving crown that exists in Western civilization, but it's there at the center of the parliamentary building. What does that mean? That means that sovereignty rests with the Hungarian people. The people are sovereign in Hungary. But for that to be true, the Hungarian people have to reject these foreign influence operations, vote for who they want to be their leader, reject the Brussels bureaucrats.
Remember the narrative that JD Vance was being pushed aside? Remember the narrative that they said that Trump was putting Marco Rubio at the forefront because he was angry with JD Vance? Remember all that? And now suddenly we've seen JD Vance at the forefront, making sense, showing his leadership, showing how level-headed he is, showing how articulate he is, continuing to prove that he is the perfect man for Trump's vice presidency. And suddenly that narrative has gone away. It's absolutely crazy, the narratives that these people are pushing right now. It's everywhere. And I do understand, like, from a perspective of watching from a viewer standpoint, like, it's got to be tough to get information right now. And the fact that I am viewed as like a level-headed take from people's standpoints, it's really not a testament to me. It's a testament to how bad every fucking thing else is. Because in no way, shape, or form should I be the voice of reason on political coverage. But that's how bad shit is right now. That's how awful of a situation we have found ourselves in. And unfortunately, it's not going to get much worse. Much better anytime soon. But the people that, as it stands right now, the people that seem to be off the top of my head, you've got Salty Cracker, who is crushing it. Who I think Salty is going to always have a very logical and level-headed take. Steven Crowder is another one. Steven Crowder always, level-headed. And so those are like two of the names right now that stand out to me. I don't really know how I feel about Glenn Beck these days. I guess, like, I feel like I could take or leave Glenn Beck's takes. I feel like Glenn Beck still, there's a little bit of like, which way is the wind going to blow? Matt Morris is fantastic. Yes, Matt Morris is fantastic. But I feel like with Glenn Beck, there's still like some of the way the wind blows. So he just kind of like figures out where he's going to go with this. Glenn left ablaze. Did he? I'm not aware of that. Steve Turley. Yeah, I think Steve Turley's got level-headed takes, but he is very clickbaity as well. So, like, I could, like, if you just take his titles and not watch his videos, you're going to be very misinformed. You know what I mean? You're going to be very misinformed if you just did. Black Conservative Perspective, Greg is awesome. I love Greg's channel. So I would definitely recommend tuning into him as well. So... as a matter of fact, let me see what Greg has going on these days. What's he been talking about? Because, let's see here. I haven't watched any of Greg's videos in the last few days, so I'd like to see. An hour ago, okay. Iran caves with nothing. This is actually... all right, so Democrats' dreams crushed as Trump scores a special election victory, okay? But then he's got Republican surge, devastating allegations collapse. Trump announces ceasefire after Iran folds.
From this morning. Read it and then tell me what your reaction is to it.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again.
I'd honestly say this is just like disgusting.
It sounds like typical Trump.
The first sentence, a whole civilization will die tonight. I take that as that there's going to be a lot of loss of life. So I think right off rip with that first sentence, I don't necessarily agree with what Trump's saying.
It's ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. If I swore, I'd tell you what I really think.
And then you continue to read, it kind of looks like he takes back what he's saying, that there's going to be a regime change, and that I take that as a lot of people won't die, but say it's extreme, especially from the president to be saying something like that.
I cannot believe that this is our world. I can't believe that our president of the United States believes he's some sort of supreme leader.
We will find out tonight one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
You saw right there, he said, it's the end of civilization. What do you think happens at 8 p.m. tonight?
I'm hoping it's just talk and nothing happens. But if it does happen, shame on us, shame on him.
I think it's actually rather terrifying. I mean, I would hate to think that we could start World War III, but I don't put it beyond the capabilities of him.
I have no idea, if I'm being completely honest. I hope that whatever does take place, it's for the best for the most amount of people.
Boy. So we got to talk about some fascinating updates when it comes to our military operation in Iran. Because if you were listening to the Black Pill right and the far left and the Democrat Party earlier today, we were on the brink of wiping out a whole civilization based off of President Trump's threat here on True Social that came out this morning, where he said, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again.
It's got to be one of the greatest lines. This is one of the greatest Trump tweets of all time. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. This is what I voted for. I voted for this. I voted for you to be offended over what my president is saying on social media.
And I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change,
No bullshit. Like if you are not someone plugged in and all you know is Donald Trump is this evil, racist who tried to overthrow the government. Okay. And this is where information is power. It always has been. It always will be. Remember that information is power. So don't ever not take in information. Information is power. So if you lack the information, if you lack the understanding, and if you hear this, I can truly see why this would terrify you. I could, if you are a person that does no research. Like you hear this and you're like, holy crap. What is going on with this guy?
Where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Yeah, so Trump sent this threat to Iran's leaders. And if anybody knows Trump, everybody knows that this is how Trump operates when it comes to negotiations. Okay, he always takes the maximalist position. And in war, the maximalist position is that we'll wipe out your whole civilization, right? I mean, that is the maximalist position, right? In the tariff trade wars, right? The maximalist position was 200% tariffs, effectively no trade, right? With us, if you don't capitulate to my demands, and then, you meet somewhere in the middle. Okay, this is standard operating procedure for President Trump. Okay, but yet you have very foolish and naive individuals who really thought that President Trump was about to commit a genocide, right? You know that favorite word. Okay, Piers Morgan here said this is a brazen pre-admission of genocide against the Iranian people, which would obviously be a war crime. Madness, right? War crime. War crime is the new favorite word, right? And the funny part about it is that I don't think these people realize that their fear-mongering about this is meaningless, right? Just like these people complain about international law, right? Like, what is international law? What is a war crime? Okay, I mean, these things don't mean anything in real life, okay? But this is what these people kick, scream, and cry about. And obviously, they really don't understand how anything works. They don't understand how President Trump works. You have Crystal Ball here. She says, our president is promising civilization-ending war crimes. Well, can anyone pretend we're the good guys at this point? Yeah, so Democrats went on national television arguing, boo-hoo, and crying, repeating the same exact talk.
The worst thing you can do is to be manipulated by emotionally weak people. It is a cancer. You cannot do it. All right? Because let's talk about something right now. Let's talk about something. All right? Because there's all these narratives about abusive men in relationships with women, which is 100% something that should be talked about. Do you know what's not talked about? Emotionally abusive women in relationships with men. And there are plenty of those. Oh my goodness, there are plenty of those. Emotionally abusive women are fucking dangerous. They will fuck you up. I got plenty of friends who are fucked up by this shit. And I'm like, dude, get away from the bee, okay? Get away. Like, you don't understand, man. No, I do understand, brother. I've been there, okay? Been there. Get the fuck away from her.
Points ahead of the deadline that was supposed to be tonight, right? That President Trump set. If Iran did not capitulate, then again, we were going to wipe out their whole civilization.
About 4.5 hours away now from President Trump's 8 p.m. deadline Eastern time for Iran. Democrats accusing the president of committing a war crime if he goes through with this threat. Here are some examples of that.
Phil, that's the power they got, brother. That's the power they have, man. Woo. That's it. That's the power they use. That's the superpower.
We have a completely unhinged president who is threatening massive war crimes.
The clear answer is yes. It would be a war crime.
Pure evil and insanity. Some sort of like homicidal psychopath.
Is the end game really to blow up all of Iran and actually commit war crimes?
That is California Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna, of course, who joins me now. He serves on the House Oversight and Armed Services Committees. Congressman, good to have you here. Thank you.
Ro Khanna is the worst.
Very much. So as we get closer to this deadline, and you hear the pushback, and you're part of it there, I guess I would just ask you where the war crime is and whether or not you think that Iran has been guilty of war crimes, killing almost 40,000 of their own people, gunning them down in the street.
Martha, obviously Iran is guilty of war crimes, but America is different. We don't go threatening genocide. We don't threaten to wipe civilizations off the face of the earth. That is what makes America different. The president doing this is destroying everything this country stands for. We're the good guys. We're the ones who defeated tyranny.
We're the good guys.
So, we've all been watching President Trump for a long time. Is that really what you see here? Or do you see this as a way to get Iran to open up the strait, to come to negotiations, and hopefully to have new leadership that won't oppress its people, new leadership that won't make children and women line up around energy sites, which is a Geneva Convention violation? I think we need to look at the history of the way that President Trump negotiates these things and to see that, unless you're very clear and you have a serious stick that you're holding over this situation, you're not likely to get anywhere.
Martha, you don't have to threaten genocide to get Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. We've lost the plot here. The president has lost the plot. The president went in to say that he wanted to free the Iranian people. Now he's talking about destroying 90 million people.
I was speaking with Nazimonian, and I've spoken with a lot of Iranian activists
and do they
who
not
want this.
They want him to threaten to wipe out 91 million people.
I think they understand what
this is not,
I don't think anyone's talking about
this. Is not a New York real estate deal. He's the president of the United States.
Yeah, he's the president of the United States, voted by the people. Voted by the people. Every swing state, popular vote. This is after 10 years of a hate campaign against him from people like you, and he still overcame all of it. And he's doing exactly what the people that voted him in office wanted him to do, which is piss off people like you. That is exactly what we wanted. Mark of Reality says they're so incredibly mad that he did not carry through on his threat, and they are not able to scream war crime BS. They're so mad and don't know what to do. No, and this is why they will fall back, not necessarily, well, this clown too, but they'll fall back on the it's Israel's fault, because they have nothing. So let me ask you this. Israel people, that Israel controls everything, anti-Israel people. So Israel controls everything, okay? And we know for a fact that Israel hates Iran. We know that Netanyahu wants Iran gone. So why didn't, if in fact Israel controls everything, including Trump, why did Trump not blow them up last night? Can you explain that to me? Can you explain that to me? Just in simple terms, why, if Israel controls Trump and controls the United States, why didn't Trump drop a fucking nuke on Iran last night? Explain that to me. I'd love to know the answer. Why don't you tell me? Can't wait to hear your answer.
commander-in-chief was
What do
saying
you?
we're going
I
to
guess
kill
the question
91
is, what do you suggest? This is
I'll tell you
this
what
is
we
a
can do to
leadership.
end the war.
Let me just clarify my question. So this is a leadership that has killed 1,500 American soldiers, maimed 4,500. They have, through proxies,
They're an evil regime. You're not
carried
gonna-
off October 7th, the Beirut Marine barracks
Yes,
bombing.
they're horrible.
At what point? So you really think that they're going to suddenly decide to give these things up if they are not threatened with actual consequences?
Yeah, no, Democrats don't understand how anything works. They certainly don't understand how Trump works, because again, if you understood how Trump works, you would understand that President Trump, again, likes to take the maximalist position. Clearly, this is a negotiating tactic that has resulted in Trump announcing a 2-week ceasefire with Iran, which he says will include the complete reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
Truth Social from the White House saying this: based on conversations with Prime Minister Sharif and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed.
No, yeah. Where's the anti-Israel crowd didn't answer my question. This is kind of what happens. This is the anti-Israel crowd right here. When I ask a simple question, the anti-Israel crowd is the chick right here with the water hose. And when I ask a question that they can't answer, this is them. Oh no. Oh God. I don't want to talk about Israel. I don't want to talk about Israel anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to. Why are you bringing Israel up? I don't want to talk about Israel. Okay. I thought that's all you wanted to talk about.
Between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president, and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Again, just seconds ago, before the deadline for attacks on Iran tonight, and it seems like a deal is in the making. There had been talk, Mark, all day long about maybe this was happening. How do you see this? And how?
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, this started with Pakistan coming out before the deadline and saying, hey, President Trump, can you please pause for 2 weeks, right? Will you accept a ceasefire proposal? Now, President Trump, the White House said, we'll see, we will be responding to this. So it looks like Pakistan is trying to mediate the potential destruction.
So this is obviously a little bit earlier. I think he made this video a little bit earlier before everything actually went down. But I wanted to show this a little bit up front, and maybe he does talk about it a little more, but because this video was released like 15, 17 hours ago or something like that. So
obliteration of Iran civilization, right? So lo and behold, you have President Trump announcing the ceasefire, okay, the same type of ceasefire that Pakistan was talking about. And then you have Iran coming out and accepting this, okay? This individual says, statement on behalf of the Supreme National Security Council of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yeah, I saw you guys tag me in this, and I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not. Benjamin Netanyahu rejects President Trump's ceasefire and says that the war will continue against Iran at any time he chooses. He says he will achieve his objectives through further military action under his command. We are ready to resume the fighting at any moment. Our finger is on the trigger. I don't know if this is like
2-week ceasefire has been announced between the U.S. and Iran.
Yeah, I don't know if this is legit or not. But if in fact this would be true, this just furthers my point that they're not in control of President Trump and United States. But I don't know if this is legit or not. I have no idea. I think this is Twitter, narrative spinning, but I have no idea. This account I'm not overly familiar with this account. I think I followed them at one point in time, but it seemed like they were posting engagement BS. So I don't know if it's legit.
On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, and the Field Marshal Munir for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of PM Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the U.S. for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operation. Yeah. Closing the strait, I don't think is a defensive operation, but this is how they're framing this, because that's really the only thing that we care about, right? We just care about them closing the strait. Okay, that's it. Nothing else when it comes to their military capabilities scare us. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. So this is from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, right? The Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, the mainstream media, depending on what network you're watching, right? Some of them are framing this as taco, right? They're claiming that Trump tacoed. They're claiming that Trump is caving, right, to Iran. And then if you're watching Fox News, they're basically saying that Iran capitulated to Trump. Take a look.
Baron Burnett, and out front tonight, we have this breaking news just coming in, as I said, literally at the 11th hour, Trump backing down after threatening that a, quote, whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Horrific and unacceptable words, which
every time they read that line, it makes me so happy.
just moments ago at the 11th hour before his deadline, Trump now has essentially rescinded, obviously not deleting the post, but changing the outlook, saying subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agreed to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the weeknight. I'm Simone Sanders Townsend with Eugene.
What the fuck are we looking at right now? What is this? What is this? There is nothing normal about any of these individuals in this picture. Not one person is mentally sound.
Daniels and Jackie Alemany in for Alicia and Michael. Let's get right to tonight's breaking news. Donald Trump just caved, backing down from his fake deadline, averting for now what the president described this morning as an attack on Iran that would lead to the death of a, quote, whole civilization. Moments ago, the president posted, quote, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. The suspension is contingent on Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Trump says he backed down based on talks with Pakistan, which is serving as an intermediary. He added, quote, we received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate.
And I just got off the phone with President Trump. And I will say this, we'll read the whole post later. I literally just had to rewrite the whole show. He was extremely serious in my conversation with him just now. And he was also cautiously, but seriously optimistic.
And that's the key right there. Cautiously optimistic, because I do not believe that this is actually going to hold. I just don't. Here's Patrick Bet David says this ceasefire is a bad idea.
I'm not a fan of the ceasefire. Right now, I'm not. I just think ceasefires are not going to be kept by anybody. I think we claim we agreed to a ceasefire, and what do? We attacked. You know, Iran claimed that, and boom, same thing happened with Ukraine and Russia. Remember how many times I said, oh, we agreed to a ceasefire, instantly, hours later, there was an attack. So I don't know how much. Historically, ceasefires have never worked, historically. And then guess what happens? You think they're going to sit on the sidelines and not do anything the next 2-3 decades?
No.
I don't think so. I think they just got bolder. I think they just got tougher. I think they just got stronger. And they're going to come out and timing, just, you know, especially if this kind of income is not going to be coming in every year. What types of weapons do you think they're going to have in their arsenal?
Oh, yeah.
What type of investments do you think they're going to be making? What do you think they're going to go back to doing? You think they're just going to sit and not do anything about it? You know how they said the money that was sent to him to Iran, that, hey, he was going to build bridges, he was going to do this to Iran, all those monies went to what? weapons. They were waiting. Some of them went to them, some of them went to. So I don't know. I think it's too early to tell.
And we have this. Apparently, breaking news, Iranian officials have announced that the Strait of Hormuz has been shut down again in response to Israeli strikes on Lebanon, not even lasting 24 hours. The Middle East is such a shit show. All right. It's such an absolute disaster. God, man. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I really don't. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's actually stopped. There's no telling, man. There really isn't. But this is the Middle East. Who saw this coming? I know. But of course, Trump will be blamed for this. Trump will be blamed for this. All right. But reality of it is there's just this. It's you can't fix this fucked up situation. Trump's been trying to fix the Middle East since his first term. By the way, he's been trying. You just can't. You can't fix it. I know that like he has this mindset of like I want to and I want to be the guy that does it, and he's the only guy that maybe can get anything done, but. You're only going to be here for another couple of years, Trump. There's no long-term solution to this shit. That's the problem. There's no long-term solution. That's the sad reality of it. But Trump will be blamed because, of course, he will be. All right. Let me see. Got that one. TJ says, I remember when Elon Musk was president. I remember that, too. It was a good time. Quentin says, rank him 7. Braveheart, Gladiator, Patriot, Saving Private Ryan. Of those 4, Braveheart, Gladiator, Patriot, and Saving Private Ryan, it's going to be Braveheart 1, Gladiator 2, probably the Patriot, and then Saving Private Ryan. That's probably going to be the 4 right there. Braveheart, Gladiator, Patriot, Saving Private Ryan. I think I'll take them in that order. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick, all right? Not a bad pick, but let's see. Master and Commander is Crow's best. I think Gladiators is best. You mean the movie 7? Is that what you meant? Like the movie 7? Well, first of all, it's not type 7. Do you mean the movie 7 with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman? That one is so different from the rest of those. That's why I didn't really connect it at first, because it's so drastically different from those other movies. But 7 may be my favorite movie of all of those. So 7 may be, yeah, that might be my favorite movie of all of those. Slain Hope says TDS is a drug. Look at their smiles as they shit talk Trump. They're getting free dopamine hits when they slam Trump. They're addicts. This explains TDS 100%. Let me see. Vic Chavez says that's my secret. I never cared. I respect that. Philip Beller says I'm old enough to remember when we had reporters long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I'll leave you with some thoughts on something to think about, okay? I'll leave you with a clip from my favorite movie that I think puts it into perspective, okay? This is my message of the day. A clip from my favorite movie, Interstellar, all right? We never truly value a moment until it becomes a memory. Keep that in mind. That's a crucial moment in film. We never truly value a moment until it becomes a memory. That's the truth. Love your family, your pets, your kids. Don't lose the moment. And with that, I'll see you guys a little bit later. We'll be doing another stream a little bit later this evening. And I think they're doing Among Us tonight over on the Geeks and Gamers Play channel. So I'll be making some videos for the main Geeks and Gamers channel. Okay. And I will be back here live a little bit later this evening for another CobraCast. And then we have, of course, the gaming stream tonight. And then who knows, I might run some gaming tonight over on my D-Day Cobra Gaming channel. Could have a fun night, but I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good evening, and we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.